Hey everyone, this is Raven and I'm back with my weekly comic book reviews where I go over the comic books that I read this week. So I think I was able to read 6 comic books with all of them, 5 of them being from Marvel with one of them being from Image Comics. But anyway, let's start. I ended up reading Black Panther issue number 16 by Ta-Nehisi Coates, and again it's amazing, especially because of the awesomeness we got to see from Storm. She ended up going to save or help Nakia, and she took out the entire fleet by herself. And I think it wasn't even on Earth, she was basically on the moon, and she also time traveled, if I'm not wrong. There's a lot of sci-fi going on, but yeah, it was awesome to see Storm being so powerful, especially in an environment that isn't the same as Earth's. So yeah, it was amazing. Again, if you are a Storm fan, I recommend that you pick this issue up. Then the next comic book that I read was Fearless issue number 3. Now, Fearless issue number 1 and 2 were quite boring for me, but 3 ended up being interesting because we ended up seeing what was happening at the camp. Basically, I guess the camp owner is using the camp as bait. That's what Miss Marvel thinks. As far as Captain Marvel, Invisible Woman, and Storm are concerned, the beacon that one of the students have ended up calling these alien forces, and again, more Storm awesomeness. She was working quite well with Invisible Woman using her shield powers or her defensive skills, while Storm ended up being the more offensive type person. And there's this panel where Carol is like, Sue, you handle the 80 on the left and I'll take the 80 on the right. And then Sue is like, yeah, but what about the other 90? And then Storm comes in and she ends up taking out all of the enemies with a blitz attack. It was amazing. Then I ended up reading Mighty Morphin Rangers, issue number 43. So yeah, this is from Boom Studios. This isn't a Marvel comic book, and that's my cat meowing. But anyway, it's a fun issue. This was basically the Power Rangers facing a very powerful villain who ended up knowing all of their weaknesses, and he ended up taking out Kimberly. Then he ended up taking out Jason and then Zach. His main target was Tommy. It was fun, and we see Kimberly calling Trini to come and help. But then again, Trini and Zach and Jason, I guess. I'm not really sure. The Red Rangers, yeah, it's weird, but anyway. Then I ended up reading Powers of X issue number 5, which is the penultimate issue in the 6-issue miniseries, and it was okay. I'm more of a fan of the House of X series compared to the Powers of 10 series. But anyway, in this issue, we ended up seeing the 3 timelines. We saw Professor X talking with Forge about creating an energy source about what he wants because of what he wants to do. He wants to use Cerebro to create copies of the mutants, their consciousness, and he should be able to download that consciousness. And it was weird. Then in the 10-year timeline, we ended up seeing Magneto and Professor X going to Emma for help because they want the Hellfire Club to transport the drugs that they'll be making. And then in the future, I guess the Phalanx is going to destroy what's left of humanity. I'm not really sure. But yeah, if you are a fan of Powers of X or Powers of 10, you should consider picking up this issue. An interesting thing that we got to find out was that they have a quiet council of Krakoa, which is basically 12 members that govern what happens in Krakoa and how they end up functioning when as far as their relationships with the rest of the world is concerned. And right now, all we know is that the council includes Professor X, Magneto, Sebastian Shaw, and Emma Frost. Now, I won't be surprised if Storm is on the council, even Kitty Pryde. But yeah, also members 13 and 14 are Krakoa itself and Cypher. Then I ended up reading Strikeforce issue number 1. This is a new series by Tiny Howard, and I have been looking forward to reading this series, especially because it has Wiccan in it. And basically, Blade is facing this weird villain, and which is able to infect your mind, and the more people know about this villain, the more powerful it gets. And basically Angela ends up being the one who tells Blade that it's something Asgardian, and I guess these species are known as the Verdai. And now this team, which consists of Blade, Bucky, Wiccan, Spectrum, Spider-Woman, and Angela, and even Damian Hellstrom, they need to come together because they already know about the Verdai, and they need to go and figure out how to defeat them, because basically I guess they have infected a lot of people. But yeah, it's a good start to a series, and basically Doctor Doom is involved somehow. So I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. But Teeny Howard ended up using that entire trust me thing in order to create some sort of horror, especially when strangers are concerned and you don't know who to trust. So yeah, let's see where this goes. And the final comic book that I read is The White Trees, issue number 2, and I basically raved about the series over at the Geekiary when I reviewed the first issue, and the second issue ends up concluding this two-part story in quite an emotional manner. Even though it was a bit predictable, I still liked it. The art is gorgeous. Chip Zdarsky has done an awesome job of introducing a fantasy world with well-written queer representation, and then characters that are interesting. So yeah, of course I'll be doing a written review of this for the Geekiary as well. The link to that will be down in the comment section below as soon as the review goes up. And again, I recommend that you pick this issue up. It's only 2 issues, so it's not much of a commitment for a very interesting story. Let me know which comic books you guys read this week, and yeah, until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you guys later.